What's good? We back in the building. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic. Y'all know what it is. Appreciate everybody. Back on that boxing grind. And talking about why black people can't boycott. Why doesn't it work? When one black person asks somebody to boycott something to get the masses to follow, it usually doesn't work or it doesn't last long. Look at the little coolest kid in the monkey in the jungle picture. Still see black people shopping at H&M all the time. No matter how offensive or how racist or what's being done to a black person in the black community, we tend to boycott at first, and then after that, people forget and go back about their regular lives. Look at Black Lives Matter and how that movement has just simmered down and quieted down, and that's because we've been set up to be divided and driven apart, and even as a people, we've been really still segregated. You have the suburban communities. The schools are better in the suburbs, and in the black community, the schools are poor and cheaper, and will have less resources. But that's another conversation for another day. But it's just a simple fact that it's no real black leaders no more, man. All the black leaders are pretty much funded probably by the government, and tempted by the money, and to push the government's agenda on the black community. It's no black leaders that we could look at, and black people in really places of power that we can look at and trust that can lead the masses, like Martin, Malcolm, even Tupac had some power to lead the masses, and he was very dangerous, and they had to get rid of him as well. Any black person that had power, that people will listen to and that can move the masses has been, exterminated, and we have no real leaders out there anymore in the world of where it's very, very, in the United States where it's very, it's very key to continue to poison our kids' minds and our families' mind, everybody else's mind, with poisonous television and poisonous, food in our communities with liquor. It's the same thing. The game don't change, just the players in it. But it's tough, and a lot of these kids don't know what it means to be together. And it starts with teaching the youth, the true meaning and the history of why we need to stick together. We look at each other as enemies. And I remember, a young brother told me, he said, the reason why a lot of these black men are beefing with each other is because we see ourselves as the only real competition. And kings fear kings. Kings doesn't fear peasants. And not to say that other nationalities are peasants, but I guess we fear our greatest threat, which is ourselves. We compete with ourselves. And, it's hard for us to get to work together and get to the point where we all can move as one. And if that ever happens, which I don't believe is going to happen in my lifetime, then it's key, and even as people. Remember back in like 2007, when gas price was like $5 a gallon almost. And we told everybody tried to do a boycott through the radio and TV for people to stop buying gas. And for one day, everybody's like, gas up, I forgot, let's just say hypothetically on Monday, and we're going to boycott gas for Tuesday, and it's going to, kill the gas market and have to drop the prices down. People never bonded together and did that. It was always a whole bunch of people in the morning, afternoon, midday, getting gas, And, we just can't form an alliance that we need to form. We don't have that leader no more. We don't have that powerful leader that we believe in to be stout, firm, and, be tough. And that's tough. Just if you know your history of all the great black leaders that it once was, throughout our history. And it's tough, and our people are plummeting, and we getting mistreated. And some of the kids think it's the way it's supposed to be, but it's not. And, like I said, after those killings of those young black men, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, it was a way for a minute. Oh, yeah, we going to do this, we going to do that. And when it came to doing what was supposed to be done, nothing happened. We'd go out there and murder a guy who owe you some money, or murder a kid, or somebody for a cell phone. But George Zimmerman is still walking around here, alive, and clouting and gloating and threatening Jay-Z and clouting and gloating about killing Trayvon Martin. Police officers, killing kids and killing people, or hurting kids, and they still around here walking around, and ain't nothing being done. And people say, oh, Trump ain't gonna last this long, or whatsoever this may be. he's still here. And all these threats that people have, and we gonna do this, we gonna do that, we don't carry them out no more. So if you don't carry out a threat, you known as a pump faker. And they're not gonna fear a pump faker. And it's just hard for the black community to bond together to boycott something. I don't know what it's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be deeper than deep. You know, deeper than 6 feet deep. And I don't see it becoming that deep, but if it does, maybe then we can bond together and move as one. But we need that leader, you know. And it starts with the children of tomorrow. You know, start to teach your kids the history of that. You know, instead of loving hip hop and all the rest of that BS. Educate your kids. A lot of kids don't even know what the Ku Klux Klan is. You know, a lot of people don't know that the truth about Christianity, or know the Ku Klux Klan is Christianity. Didn't know the slaves was allowed to go to church. Don't know who Martin Luther King is. Don't know who Malcolm X is. Don't know who the Black Panther Party was. You know, a lot of kids don't know this stuff. Trust me. Ask them all day, every day. You know, they don't know it. And it's up to the parents to educate, not the school system, because we know the school system ain't shit. It's up to the parents to educate the kids so we can get better in the future. We gone.